All right, Lance, we just went live, so it seems like we are good to go. A couple of minutes early, so we're going to give it a few minutes just to let people start to come in and say hello. There's already people in the chat here. Jim saying hello, Joseph saying hello. Good to see you, Joseph. I know you were hoping that this could be done on a Sunday. At least the webinar part of it could be done on a Sunday. The trades are done on Sundays, so hopefully it's something that will excite you. But it's good to see that you're able to attend tonight, because I know you're saying you might have a hard time attending. For you guys in Theta Traders already, say hello in the chat. I'm always curious to see how many people are already familiar with Lance and what Lance does, and what the group of Theta Traders does overall. It's always interesting to see who the audience for these things actually are. And kind of get to know you guys a bit better as well, because usually it's a mix of people that have followed my channel or in some of the Discords I'm part of or running the Facebook group. So it's always really good to see who's here, and I see Aaron's here, familiar face, a very familiar face. That's good. Always good to see Aaron, so it's pretty good.
Everybody.
All right, guys. So we are starting. We'll start to come in nicely. I think tonight we're actually, so if you guys have watched the channel, usually I've been doing like very chilled out interview style things. Hey, Michael, how's it going? Hi, Jerry. Hi, William. People saying hi. So yeah, so normally like these webinars that I've been doing over the last month, I've been going at them pretty hard. You guys probably saw the Jason Bond one. You saw the Stephen Brooks one. And so a lot of them are very just chilled out. We just like chat and things. And that's what Lance and I have done over the last few, probably a year, right? We've sat down and done these types of webinars together. Tonight we thought we'd try something a little bit. Hey, David, how's it going? Hey, Tom, people saying hello. Yeah, so what we thought we'd do tonight is try and be a little bit more professional. I know it's kind of crazy, but we thought we'd try and put together a presentation. And so the first thing I'd like to say is, like, we love to interact with you guys, but one thing we're going to try tonight is just, if you have questions, like, post them in the chat, as you guys love to do, and we will get to them, I promise you. I'll be monitoring the chat. Every single question will get answered, but probably more towards the end of the webinar. So basically, like, it'll enable Lance to basically get his message across in a more coherent, like, consistent way. So it's kind of something that we're trying to do tonight. So we're about to put some slides up, and we're going to tell you about some of the most exciting trading I've ever been part of. It's certainly the most consistent and safe and most fun I've ever had trading, and I've been doing this a decade. I've tried almost every service out there, if you guys see my reviews, and I make money doing some of those, but at the same time, this is a whole different level of stress-free trading, and it's something that until you try it, it doesn't sound that spectacular, but when you try it and you go, wow, I placed a trade, it took me 10 seconds, I forgot about it, now I have $500 extra, and I did nothing, I didn't worry, I didn't stress, I just went about my life. And that is what, like, I'm most excited about conveying to you guys, and what Lance has dragged me screaming this strategy, which I resisted, and a lot of people resist. And you'll see why as we kind of get into the presentation a little bit. But the trick for a lot of people is to get over the psychological barriers, get out of their comfort zone, and embrace this style of trading. So I think you guys are really going to love this. And let's get started. So you want to put up the slides, Lance?
Yeah, it took you a bit of time to get onto the consistent profits here. But now that you're in, I think you're pretty hooked.
Oh, I'm hooked. And I think you guys will be too, the guys that are watching that aren't already part of it. Theta Traders Inner Circle already have access to this, but this is something that is really something I've never experienced before, and it's partly because at first glance it feels like something that only like really experienced pros like would be able to do. And I know as when I was a new trader, I couldn't really face like complex things like what are futures. Oh my God, futures, they're scary, but at the end of the day, they're just tickers like anything else, and they're very easy to trade. So I really want to talk about that for a few slides, and then Lance will kind of give you all the details. Does that sound like a good plan? I think that should go pretty well. So, so why are we here today? Well, it's to talk about how this is one of the best strategies I've ever come across, and one I'm using to do basically free money. So you want to hop onto the next slide, Lance? So like I'm saying, Lance and I, what we're sharing tonight, nothing comes close to consistency profitability and passive nature of the style. It's easy to say that, say, a swing trade is passive income, but really with the swing trade, you're terrified the whole time, right? You can be put on a swing trade like bullseye trades, which I love. You might be up for the first day, and then the rest of the week it tanks and you're screwed. What you want is something that wins all of the time, or 99% of the time or more, because then when you place the trade, you're really chilled out when you place it, and you're like, okay, cool, this is not a big deal. And that's the style of trading that we're talking about tonight. You want to hit the next slide? So what we're going to cover is what this trading style is, how Lance and I combined haven't lost. It's something like 100+ trades now. Most of them are Lance's. I only started this in the last few months. Lance, like I said, dragged me into this, and it's partly to help me pay for a car. And I don't know if you guys saw a video that I put up recently, but this strategy is helping me basically get a free, brand new 2023 RAV4, murdered out, just the works. $35,000, not a lot of money for a car, but I'm not a big car person. But I want to talk about that because I think it is important, because it's something that it's like changing my life. Like now I don't have to worry about a car payment. I just have a car and it's free essentially. I want to make sure that when we say free, what I mean is I don't have to do any work, right? Because you could say it's free if you took on another job and used that to pay for the car. This is free because it takes me 10 seconds every Sunday night, which is nothing, and it ends up coming out to be free essentially for me. So I hope there's no confusion there. I'm going to do a few slides later on after Lance does his bit. But the basic idea is that this can change your life. You don't need more than a few $1,000s to start. And it just takes a few minutes or less a week, and you sleep really well at night, which is the important part. You want to hit the next slide? Importantly, if you stay until the end, so we want to teach you what we're doing, but we also want to give you the opportunity to work with Lance. Lance is one of the best teachers that I've come across. He is a teacher by profession, as a lot of you guys know, but he's also one of the most honest, transparent, and gives the most dedication to helping people with these trades than anybody else that I've ever met. And so he basically works with his group, Theta Traders, but we're also starting a new group, which we'll talk about tonight a little bit, which basically he shows you how to win these trades 99% of the time. I say 99%, over 100 trades, there's been no losses. There's going to be a loss. We can control it. We hedge against it. There's plenty of things going on with that. But the main thing is that the experience and basically the smartness, that's the easiest way to say it, of Lance, that how you can learn how to trade these trades and maximize the rewards while minimizing the risks of these is something that I've not seen in any other service. In fact, there's so few services that actually do anything like this. It's very hard to find competitors of any sort that will do this type of thing, which is fantastic. So it's something that is really under the radar, and it's something that can really change your financial life. Now, the one caveat for that is if you're trying to turn $1,000 into $100,000 in a month or 2 months or 3 months, that's not going to happen with this strategy. This is about consistency, being able to sleep well at night and being able to spend time with your children, buy a new car without worrying about it and paying for it with the profits from this strategy, like free money almost. So, yeah. So with that said, we aren't going to ask for an arm and a leg for this service. We'll keep the costs as reasonable as possible, and we're doing it what some people would say is ridiculous, and in this industry you'll hardly ever see, is we're doing a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you fail to make the required minimum amount of money, given the amount of capital that you have, and there's a whole document that we can give you guys on this, we're so certain that this will work after 1.5 years of testing, that this is something that you can get your money back on completely. And I hope that makes people realize that this is not some scam, because I know a lot of fears about that kind of thing, going on in this industry. And I think it'll be something new and interesting to try with this particular thing. All that being said, let's get started with Lance, and for guys that don't know who Lance is, give a bit of an introduction, and then we can talk about the strategy, and then I'll tell you my story about how my wife and I bought this brand new car, and it should be fun. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this presentation, and I'll turn it over to Lance at this point.
Yeah, so here's some two titans of industry in the image there. One of them is me, and one of them is Ben Franklin. I think you could probably guess who's who. But anyway, that was an old picture of me as a UPenn grad, 2003. Right after right after going to UPenn, I was a biology major, but I did go to financial advising right afterwards. So I worked for Ameriprise Financial. They used to be American Express. So I know a lot of the lingo of being able to sell different, fiduciary relationships and being able to help out members. So I did that for like 3 years or so. But then I noticed that this job was much more just getting a new client and not necessarily helping them out too much. And a lot of financial advisors, they have their program. It'll just churn out based on your risk return profiles. This is what high load mutual funds you should be investing in. And it wasn't really that helpful, I thought, to members. So I decided to just switch gears and became a high school science teacher and started from 2007, still going till now. Going to be on my 17th year, I think now. Yeah, I got 7 plus 9, 16, 17th year. Yeah. So I do high school science, chemistry, physics, sometimes intros to those as well. And then I definitely like my career, going to be teaching until I retire there. But I still, I always had that financial just thoughts of how can I help out others with their money and finances. A lot of teachers would ask me for help, like, hey, what should I do with this money and whatnot? And then decided I made a YouTube channel, did thetatraders.com. You also type that in on YouTube. You can see my YouTube channel and whatnot. Been doing that channel for about almost 4 or 5 years now, and been a profitable options trader the last 5+ years, doing a lot of these different strategies. So one of my main philosophies is I want to be able to make passive income. A school teacher working a lot. It's hard to be trading in the middle of the day when I got students doing a chemistry lab. We don't want to be blowing up stuff, right? So I want to be able to do stuff that is relatively quickly, relatively straightforward, and obviously to help support my family and make good returns on my money, right? I also want to be able to teach others. I teach my daughters all the time, all this stuff. My older daughter's doing percentages now and figuring out what 5% is, 10% is, and different numbers. And I share all my trades with others that are in thetatraders.com to help them reach their goals. It's not only just simply copying my trades. I want to be able to teach the methods of why I'm doing the trades the way I do. And based on risk and return profiles, most of the time it works for a lot of members, but some other members might want to be even safer than what we do, even though the strategies we do are 95+% profitable. Sometimes they might want to be willing to take a little bit more risk, be a lower win rate, but could possibly get higher returns. And that's one of the things that I like to teach other members and possible ways to set up these trades. So one of my main philosophies, I want to be fairly passive and not to be spending tons of time during the day doing this. I typically do my trades either at lunchtime or on Sunday evening, as you'll see in the trades we're going to do shortly. So I want to win at least 95% of my trades. Not every trade will work, but a very high percent of my trades I want to be able to work out. And while I sleep, I could wake up the next day and not be stressing out about what's happening with the markets and am I down a lot in a certain position that are really short expirations and whatnot, right? So I've been trying many different strategies. I'm not only a teacher, but I'm also a learner. I've been practicing a lot of different trades on paper accounts, doing small size trades, and been buying options, been doing spreads, debit spreads, credit spreads, pretty much every type of trade that's possible. And I found that selling options is the best method, has a very high win rate, it's relatively passive, and you can sleep well at night. You don't have to worry about positions every minute of the day. And this also works with my risk profile. I want to be able to consistently grow my money at a relatively good return. Obviously, I want to be a little bit better than just buying and holding index funds. And I think options are the optimal way to do that via selling options. So selling options is a lot like being a casino owner. If you go to the casino, you'll see some people that probably had a little one too many drinks and they're betting on number 28 in roulette, putting a bunch of money down, and there's a very low percent chance that that's going to work out, right? As the casinos constantly get bigger and bigger, and they're making all these lavish new rooms and whatnot, because they make so much money knowing that a lot of these option buyers or casino players are going to be slightly below what the expectancy should be in getting their money, right? So options do give investors a legal way to play this role of a casino. And you don't need a lot of capital to do that. If you're going to buy a casino, you'll need tens of millions of dollars if you want to make a good one. But for selling options, you could do this stuff with as little as a few $100s, and you could just take these little bets over and over again, bet against those people that are betting on number 30 in roulette, being able to manage our money when we need to, and then just keep collecting those little incomes. So selling options on individual stocks and ETFs like SPY, QQQ, they work okay. On Twitter, I've been noticing a lot of option sellers that I follow, and almost all of them do individual stocks or ETFs. I actually put a poll out saying, does anyone do anything with futures options, which we'll talk about shortly? And you could hear the crickets chirping. Like there's very few people out there that are doing stuff on options with futures. So we'll get to that shortly. This is an example trade of what you could do with an ETF. So SPY at the time was 450 per share. And we want to be consistent. We want to be able to sleep well at night and make an easy trade. So we could go quite a bit lower than the 450 price. And we could sell a cash secured put about a month out at 425. So it's a pretty big cushion from the 450 strike price. And it would get 0.98. It's a 100 multiplier with stocks and ETFs. So I'll get $98 of income from the premiums. So it sounds pretty good, you know, $98. However, fully cash secured, you're going to have to put up $42,402. That's $42,500 from the strike minus the $98 that you took in. So $98 good. Putting down $42,000 to get that, that's not so good. And this is the example trade that I found on Thinkorswim, showing you can get your net credit after commissions and fees about $97.35, but it uses $42,000. Not necessarily anything wrong with doing this, but I wanted to find a way to amplify returns and also be very safe on my trades. So what if there's a way to amplify these returns with a very similar risk profile? You could do this with 1/10, even 1/20th of that capital, and we're about to show you how to do that. So what makes this possible? The main secret is leverage. You also want to be able to use leverage effectively and safely. So Archimedes, very useful scientist, right? He said, give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I'll move the entire earth. If you have a lot of different avenues working for you, the different systems, different tools, networks, and teams and mentors, and that's the type of stuff that we do at thetatraders.com. You're not by yourself when we're looking at individual trades. Having all of these working together could help you reach your goals that you want. So one of the solutions is to use leverage, again, safely, put that in capitals, with futures options, and we're about to see some examples here. Helps you make consistent passive profits, and there is very little risk. The trades that we're about to show actually have a 100% win rate since we started, I think it was April 2022. And 2022 had some pretty down markets. There were some months that were down quite a bit, but these trades still worked out. So selling options on futures. Futures have a innate tech to do span margin on them, and it's a leverage vehicle that you could use just with futures. You could do these with very small and very large accounts. It's very similar to portfolio margin. Portfolio margin, though, you need at least $100,000. Some brokerages might need 250 grand. You could do these trades, again, $2,000. That's how I started my brokerage with the futures. You can place these trades during the market if you're available, or after the market. Again, I do most of these trades on Sunday evening. Market opens at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Usually by 5:05, 5:10, I'm already done with the trade and don't have to worry about it anymore. You could earn better than just buying and hold returns or selling fully cash secured puts in just one simple trade a week. This is, again, small and large account friendly. We have members doing this with a few $1,000s. We have some members doing this with six-figure accounts as well. But I just want to quickly show you how to actually go about this. When people hear futures, they kind of turn off. They're like, oh, what the heck are these futures things? I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it. And to be honest, when I was first researching futures, it did feel a little overwhelming, but it's very similar to selling a put on a stock or an ETF. So one way that you could do this, you would need futures approval though, and it's relatively straightforward on Tasty Trade. You can get futures approval for $2,000. You could type in the backslash key and then MES. This is the S&P 500 futures account. There's MES and ES. It's very similar to just typing in SPY or SPX right here. And then you're going to pick a day's expiration, just like you do with selling a cash secured put. You could click on the bid price. That is the smaller between the bid and the ask price. If you go right at the bid price, you'll pretty much immediately get filled on your order pretty much every time. You could also go a little bit higher than that. And that's some of the things that I research is what possible premiums did I collect, let members know about it. And they usually get a little bit more than these bid prices. And then that's really it. You could literally do this in about 15 seconds or so once you get the hang of it. And we have some members doing these trades within a week or two and doing it in under a minute. You can place these trades in 23 hours, 6 days a week, Monday to Friday during market open. You do it in the evenings those days, and you can also do it on Sunday evening. I do Sunday evening because then I'm not teaching during it. I know what trade I want to make, and then I just place it. So all you'll do there is you'd click confirm. This example trade that I showed here uses only $732 in buying power. It controls $21,350, and you can earn $50 out of it. So if you did this fully cash secured with $21,000, you're only making about 0.2% of your money. With this leverage, you're only using the $732. 50 divided by 732, you're looking at a 6.8% return in a little over a month.
Yeah, it also opens up to people who don't have $40,000 in their account, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just wanted to compare two situations where you can make the same amount of money, one fully cash secured and one using leverage. So if you do two contracts with this MES, you make about $100 because it's $50 per contract. It's very similar returns to what we showed earlier. If you sell one cash secured put on SPY, make about $98 here. Here, if I sell two of these MES options, I'm making $100 in my max profit. So here I'm making about 0.2% of your money in a month. Not really that good. You could just buy T-bills and do that and make more. But if you do this with the leverage, you could significantly amplify your returns that way. So some of the pros and cons, there are a few cons to this I definitely want to mention. First, the pros, the returns, obviously, as you can see, are very good. They're very easy to place a trade. You can place them after market close. You can do them during the market if you're free during lunchtime. Sometimes during lunch, I'll set these trades as well. Once the trade is placed, I'm looking for trades that are very passive, and I don't have to really worry about them and looking at the market every minute of the day. Most of the time, about 99% of the time, I literally just let it be. I wait until it expires, and then you have your money back, and then you can do it over and over again. Some of the cons are there could be losses if you're not playing very safe strikes. The previous example I showed is not necessarily a super safe trade. I just wanted to show the difference between non-leverage and leverage. It could be an over-leveraged account if you get a little greedy and go too far, but that's one of the things that I help with my group is making sure that they use proper amount of funds. You want to leave cash on the side, and we go over in detail what to do with that and how much to leave. Some of the solutions to these cons. Back-tested, use a lot of indicators to find trades, extremely high probability of successes. Again, I don't want to have like a 70, 75% win rate. I want to go 90% plus win rate on these. And every trade since May of 2022 has profited on it. Here are the results that we've had. Again, these are one trade a week from May 2022 all the way to today, and very consistent profits. None of them hit a loss at all. and you could see just place the trade, 15 seconds, let it be. When it expires, just do it again, get those profits consistently.
Yep, yep, for sure. And with this, this was the sort of data that Lance was showing me, where I just sat down and I said, "Hey, why am I not doing this? Like, it's just ridiculous. I should be doing this. It takes a minute every Sunday night, click, and then you forget about it. Might as well do it." And so at the same time, it just happened that I was looking to buy a new car. My wife's pregnant. We've got a baby on the way in the next month and a half. So we've been very frugal with cars. We're not car people. We thought we'd maybe upgrade to something from a Honda Civic. So it's hard to not upgrade if you're buying another car that's not a Honda Civic. So we thought we'd go with something that actually just happens that Lance actually has as well, which is a RAV4, which is probably the second most popular car in the US. And so it's a $35,000 car. We got it murdered out with the black the black rims and the tint and everything, because it's Texas, it's really hot. We want to keep the sun out. And so normally I would, I hate spending money on cars, because always this whole thing of like, you drive it off the lot and it loses half its value or whatever, which is always, kind of demoralizing. But then, Lance and my wife said to me, well, why, instead of giving the $35,000 to the broker, because we nearly always just pay up front and avoid interest on loans and things, instead of giving that $35,000 to the car dealership, why not just keep most of that or all of it, and then basically start, put that money into Lance's strategy, this future strategy. And from the calculations I did, I said, hey, if I would take a fraction of this, and I could basically pay off this car, pay loans on it. So what I did is basically took out a loan, which I hate doing. It's like the worst thing ever. But I decided to do it and give Lance's strategy a go. So if you don't lose a trade and you're only spending a minute a week doing it, and you basically take that capital and pay off the loan, then you're getting the car for free, essentially, right? So if you go to the next slide, that's the actual car.
I think you're using even less, I think a little less than half that car purchase with your actual car, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to show my portfolio and the buying power and things, but that's what I'm just saying. Instead of buying the car with the $35K, where the dealership would take the money, invest it in something, probably buying a car from somebody and selling it for profits, keep that money, put some of it into a trading account deliberately just for this, right? So I have several trading accounts. This is one that I opened with Tasty Trade. So Lance talked me through that. The idea is it's one of the best accounts for doing this with. And so just put some money in there. Started with very little, actually. Been doing it a couple of months, just built up to a fraction of this 35,000. It's not even all in there. And so I took the plan on the car, and then let's switch to looking at my brokerage, and I'll kind of show you some of the trades that I have on at the moment. So we can switch to my live stream right here. Hopefully it comes up. Let me just pull this up. Let's see. All right, do you guys see my Tasty Trades? I guess you do now. So for guys that are not familiar with the futures, this is the tickers on the left here. And so you don't need to worry too much. I think this puts off a lot of people. Sometimes they see these different numbers and letters. Some of you guys are probably, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. But some people aren't. I wasn't before I started this. I was like, what is this nonsense? This U3, Z3, MES, blah, blah. And so I'm normally a crackhead day trader, so this is a whole new world to me. So the first thing I want to draw your attention to, this account was opened with a few $1,000s, not much at all. I think I have about 6,000 in buying power in the trades at the moment. And if you zoom in here, we can see that this POP, so probability of profit, is greater than 99.5% on each of these trades. This is the date that these were opened, and this is the date that they expire. And the goal with this strategy is to allow the decay over time to basically let the option contracts decay to zero. And so you can see that 23 days have had this. There's still 7 days. I have 169 profit right here, which is only 65% of what I should be getting. So I still have quite a bit of juice to milk out of these particular MES contracts. A bunch of them, and they're kind of compressed at the moment. So you can see over the last couple of months, we made 791, and then going up rapidly every day and making more and more juice from the decay until the expiration here. 96 from these guys, This was an ES contract, this one right here. And so I'm very, very confident, given the strike prices, the deltas, and the probabilities of profits, that these are all going to max out. This is going to go to 100, this will be 100, this will be 100. This one actually is a hedge, so one of the ways to protect yourselves is you can put on some clever hedges. Not going to talk about that in this presentation, it's a little bit more advanced. But basically, these are the trades that I have on at the moment. The year to date, like I said, is, if we go up here, is a little bit misleading. It's not like had this account very long at all. It's 955 profit, and basically doing absolutely nothing. So I'm more than happy with that. That's 3 months of car payments, which is more than which already is covering my car payments. And I'm not being aggressive at all. I'm being very chilled out with it. I should probably use more of my buying power, but either way, it just feels really good to be paying these bills. And you can compound this. One thing you can do, of course, is just to keep reinvesting the profits. But for fun, what I'm trying to do, and to convince my wife to give me a lot more capital to put in here, is to pay out the every month, to say, hey, look, we're paying the car payment with this, we're paying this, we're paying rent with this. That'll be the goal. Keep going up with capital until you're paying all your bills, but only working 1 minute every Sunday night. Now you can be more aggressive. You can put on these trades whenever you want, but the strategy that Lance preaches is this idea that usually you have expiration on Fridays, so then your buying power is freed up for the Sunday when the future market opens. But one thing is, you don't actually have to close these out. So you can just put these on. It takes a minute, and then you just let them decay. It can be 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. You can see, for example, on this one, I've already made 87% of what I will from it. And so I've had this one for 16 days. There's still 11 days to go. And I have to make that choice at this point. It's like, do I want to recycle this buying power? Because I already have 87% of the profits. I could close this position and then redo it, take that capital, I think it's a couple $1,000, and start a new position, So you can juggle them, take profits at 50%, 80%, 90%, or you just let them be and take full 100% profits at expiration. So you just do this over and over again. And it's not going to turn 100,000 into $1 million, but compounding is a powerful thing. And I'm not sure if you're going to talk much about that, Lance, but you were going to mention the fact that, this is cash flow for me. It's a new strategy. It's fun and it's cash flow, but you could grow significant wealth doing this as well.
Yeah, we'll answer that in one of the questions that we saw. It'll be about 10 minutes.
There's definitely some more questions. Okay, so I don't think I had anything else to say on my own brokerage here, except anybody have any questions, just let me know at the end. Again, we want to kind of keep the momentum going. We've been going half an hour. We've still got a little bit to go, and then let's do lots of questions and see if you guys are interested in this in more detail. Do you want to put your slides on?
Yeah. Let's see a second here. Not much left, guys. Thanks for holding on. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, just done it. I think I have to remove mine. There we go. So we're on to testimonials.
So I want to go over a few members and theta traders. They've been doing these trades for up to a year, a little bit over a year now, and a lot of happy members. So this person wrote, Lance Spencer futures trades last year to me, but I put it aside since I didn't understand. I see Erin in the chat too is very curious now, and she's already a lifetime member. So I'll definitely spend some one-on-one time with you to explain it further. Took the time, patience, helped answer all my questions, helped me learn more about it. With the knowledge he receives, 2 to 3% with very low risk trades, and a great way to grow a small account safely. You could also grow large accounts at 2-3%. That could be 30 to 40% a year when you compound that. And if you're getting 30-40% a year on your money year after year with these consistent profits, you can significantly grow not only small but large accounts as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point out that you're sacrificing maybe a tiny bit of percentage gain over the year for chilled out, fun, relaxed trading, right? That's the big payoff. Yeah. If you're cracking at 50%, but
Right.
you know,
And there are some other strategies that we do use in the group that we'll mention shortly that you could amplify the returns if you want to spend just a little bit more time. But I want to make it very straightforward, very easy to implement, because that's one of the biggest things with futures is people zone out in general. They're like, oh, what are these futures? So I want to come up with something very easy and very consistently works. Husker Josh said 6 months ago, started with futures, started with a $5,000 account, and he made 15% account growth. This was only about 3 months ago or so. What makes it even more exciting, a significant portion has been achieved passively, allowing me to enjoy the rewards of my investments without constant monitoring or active involvement. And then Lance's help created a trading plan that not only helped create immediate income now, help me build wealth for the future as well. For lifetime members and data traders, I wrote a trading plan of all the different strategies we have, and I've been working a lot with different members on having individual members work on their own trading plan. So how much money should they possibly use in different strategies? Another one, I've been trading futures using the alerts, mainly 30, 35 DTE. That was one of the questions someone wrote. For the consistent profits, we usually look around 30 to 35 days out. Do those on Sunday. Don't take all the trades, but usually have 3 on at a time. As they get to 50% profit, he'll take the profit, add a new alert, and 0 losing trades so far since 2022. And again, last year was a pretty tough year. There's a lot of down movements, but these trades still worked in those cases. All right, Russell, you want to leave it up for some questions? I'll unshare my screen, and then you could post questions. Yes.
Yeah, there's a ton of questions. So I'm just gonna scroll back and find some of the top questions here. You're breaking up a lot, blah blah blah. Risk for brisket. Brian was asking what's the delta for the SPY trade. One that you showed. It was probably pretty low, like.
Yeah, the SPY trade that I showed, it was about 0.1 delta or so, I think. Yeah, it was either 0.08 to 0.1 delta. I forgot exactly. I did about a week ago.
So not even that low probability of, not even that great probability, right? That's not fantastic. So yeah, interesting.
And
Okay,
usually we go for delta to get our returns as well.
So just going down. Ken, how's it going, Ken? Typical DTE at entry.
Yeah, for the main consistent passive profits system that we're using, we go between 30 to 35 days out. It depends when there's expirations. So sometimes there's like a 28-day expiration, which will take the 28-day. Sometimes it might be 33, 35 days. So depending on the week when we're looking at it, they don't have very consistent DTE, but it's usually within a week or so.
That's asking for a lot more details. Some of the details we're not going to go into because they're part of like the proprietary strategy. So if you're asking for exact technicals, we're not going to go into the exact strategy in detail. Are you still there, Lance?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's just I'm having trouble putting up some of these questions. So Todd's asking DTE, Delta Stalled Strangles. I guess you could address the strangle stuff. We're not going to talk too much about the deltas and things because this is something that Lance spends a lot of time teaching members, so we don't want to go into like too much of the details of exactly how these things work down to the nearest T.
We are going to do a different version of strangles with a covered strangle, but I actually implemented a little bit differently than a normal covered strangle, and that's actually a bonus thing that we're going to be offering too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's just keep working down. What's the weekly return? Aaron's asking weekly return, monthly return. I finally opened a Tasty trade. Good for you. It's a good. I like Tasty. It's really good.
Yeah, so my target goal is around 30 to 40% a year. So we're looking at around 2.5 to 3% a month on that. If you take 2.5, 3% times 12, you get to like that 30 to 40% range.
Cool. Brian says, are these just cash secured? Nope, that's the beautiful thing about them. They're way, way better than cash secured put. Totally different.
Yeah, we're doing them with span margin, which is one of the keys to making these good returns.
Yeah, it's a different beast. I've tried both, and this is by far superior. in the returns, but also just how chilled out they are. Like you don't have to worry about like high IV crazy stocks or like it's just a lot better. So that's why it's one of my favorite strategies ever.
Yeah, we do this with
Keep
the
going.
main index. We do this with the main index like MES and ES. Lifetime members, we do other commodities like gold, oil, and grains and whatnot too.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning. So for you guys not familiar, Theta Traders is this big umbrella of like all these strategies. This is just one strategy that we're narrowing down on and going, hey, people are probably going to be really interested in just this. Let's make something that's focused on just this. Because in my mind, it's one of the best strategies. It's my favorite out of everything you do. I've tried some of your other stuff. Still prefer this. No offense. It's still really good. So, thanks again for making the webinar. Can we see the 2023 results? You did have that in the slides, didn't you?
Yeah,
it was a little hard to read some of the.
You want to send that on in your email? You send a future email with the results in 2023 if you'd like.
Yeah, so we just have to make sure Alex is actually on my email list, which is a good because not everybody here will be on my email list to get those results. I can post a link to my email sign up. Would be pretty useful.
We could also leave it on the website. We already have the 2022 results there, and we could add 2023 to the website directly. Just go to thetatraders.com, and you can see the 2022 for now.
Right. That's right. The futures part of is on the website for 2022. It's been better in 2023, but there's no the safety built into these is such that the market can go up, down, or sideways significantly, and there'll still be a winning trade, which is the cool part about this. Here's another question: how do I go about getting approved for futures at Thinkorswim? I have margin.
Yeah, so if you go on Thinkorswim, you would have to do a separate approval for futures. If you go to tdameritrade.com, there's a futures approval there. They'll ask very similar questions from stock options. Are you aware of the risks? Are you looking for growth or income and whatnot? And I do help members actually answer those questions appropriately, based on what they know. And so Thinkorswim's a little bit harder to get approved, but I've seen people get approved for relatively smaller accounts. On Tasty Trade, we've seen many get approved with only a $2,000 account. For Tasty Trade, it's just recommended because commissions are about half the size of Thinkorswim for these strategies that we're doing. It's a lot more convenient, and it also amplifies your returns due to lower commissions, and they're a little bit more lenient in getting approved for futures.
Just continuing to work down here, Michael is asking, how many trades do you have at any time active?
Yeah, so if we're doing one a week, and we typically do them on Sunday night, and they're 30, 33 days out, we'll typically have 4, possibly 5 trades. So we definitely spread out our funds for each week. I do have guides on exactly how much to be using for each week when you're entering these trades.
Yep. Glenn says, so 3% a month is typical, which I calculate is 43% a year. Pretty awesome for almost the rest. Yeah, Glenn, exactly, isn't it? Yep. And it's the lack of time. It's not just the risk; it's the fact you just go click buy and you get on with your day and week, and you just stop checking your account because you know you're going to win because it's that high of a probability. Right. It's a huge difference. It takes it from feeling like a job. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people think that they're going from swinging for the fences, going for 30, 40% a month, but then they blow their accounts. And the way that we're doing these trades with hedges and other strategies in place, like we're not going to be blowing accounts. Make proper position sizing, make sure that we're net neutral in most of our deltas, and we'll be good to go.
So what's interesting with this comment from Glenn is he's saying, I'd love to hear how to improve the returns, e.g. I think you have some more advanced strategies that you're using in Inner Circle, right, that do give you a little bit more. I saw 8%, 9% at one point.
We also do covered strangle strategies that do amplify the returns. I just closed one today, actually, on the covered strangle, and it made 3.2%, but it only took 10 days in trade. So, I mean, that's, a good 9% a month if you did that every week.
Yeah. Yeah, you're saying CSP launch results. There is some assignments. Why is it not reflecting on the results for 2022? So that's for the cash secured puts, not for the future stuff.
Yeah, those cash secured puts for individual stocks, we don't do those too much anymore for theta traders, but those for stocks, not futures.
Let's see. Can you put some light on the tax gain? Yeah, how is it with tax stuff here? Can you put some light on the tax gain?
Well, I'm not a CPA, so don't quote me on these, but futures are taxed better than selling just a cash secured put on like SPY or an individual stock. It's a 60-40 rule, and again, don't quote me on it. I think it's 60% long-term capital gain and 40% short-term. So if you're in a very high tax bracket, that does amplify the returns after tax because a lot of it is at a lower tax rate. But that's definitely a CPA type question on that.
Hey, Mr. Alternative Contrarian, good to see you again. You're here on every webinar. What's a typical trade, position size, and profit every week? So that's a fairly complex question because of the nature of the trade, right? So first of all,
go ahead.
Yeah, oh, I was just going to say, it's hard to do. They're often not weekly trades. They're often, you set them and forget them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks sometimes, unless they move in your favor very quickly, and then you can make that decision whether you're okay taking 50% profit and moving on, or if you want the full 80, 90, 100% profit. So it's not a weekly thing, it's more of a monthly thing, I would say. It's kind of the way to think about it.
Yeah.
Position size, buying power. This is what I love about this. Your buying power only needs to be about $1,000, and that's building in a bunch of safety, so it could actually be half of that. But Lance is really fantastic at minimizing risk, so he always says, hey, keep at least half of what you're putting into the trade on the sidelines to deal with span margins, so that if things start to get a little bit like, maybe the market goes down a bit, then your position is still not, you don't get a margin call. And that's a big mistake I've seen with other people in this industry, who there's very few of them, but there's a couple of people who will do this type of style of trading, and they'll tell their subscribers, you only need $5,000, you only need $10,000, and it'll turn out what the position, technically, yes, you only need $5,000 to enter an oil position, for example. But then what happens is, as soon as the market goes bad, those people get margin called, and their positions get auto-liquidated sometimes overnight at a huge loss. Lance avoids that by not allowing and encouraging the subscribers and people that are learning from him to build in that margin. So when you're asking about position size, the minimum position size is $1,000, but only half of that goes to actually the position. The other half you want to have in cash on the sides, making sure that you're safe. So it's things like that that make Lance stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
Hopefully that explains that. Next questions. Tom saying, how do you establish protections? This is what to do.
Yeah, we do a lot of other strategies with that. I'm not going to have a lot of time for a lot of the details, but we do put debit spreads usually to mitigate some of the risk and amplify returns. There's also managing. We'll occasionally need to roll the positions, but this particular strategy we haven't yet, but maybe 1 or 2 times a year, we will have to either roll down and out or get a sign and wheel it and actually sell calls against the contract. But again, that hasn't happened yet.
These questions are just going on and on and on, so we're gonna have to start going fast.
There are a lot of good questions, but let's try to. If there's multiple questions that are the same, let's try to consolidate a little bit.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's give people a chance to see what we're actually offering tonight. I think that's important because we're going to always follow up with these questions via email or reaching out on Discord or whatever to make sure that that these guys that have these questions, if they want to join the service or not, then reach out and talk to Lance directly. Because there's too many. I'm just looking down here. There's just too many. So we need to what we need to do is actually put up what we're offering for you guys tonight and to have a look at. So let me, do you want to share your screen on it, or do you have it, or do you want me to share it?
If you can share it, I don't have it up right now.
Okay, I'll find it.
While you're reading I could answer a few questions while you're opening it if you need.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I'll try and find the actual landing page.
Is it scalable? Yes, you could do this with multiple positions. I usually do 3 or 4 contracts a week. You can also do ES contracts if you have a large position. Strategy compared to put credit spreads are best. We do put credit spreads as well for lifetime members. 40% a year might be a bit low. Not necessarily. 40% a year is a really good return as long as you're consistently getting it. What else does we have to offer? We're about to tell you that. Do we basically put on 25% of our account on each weekly trade? For this particular strategy, yes. So if you had, say, $10,000, you would do about $2,500 per week. And then once the 4 weeks are up, in the 5th week, you would get your first week of your buying power back. All right, Russell, you ready?
Yeah, so I just posted the link to go and check out the sales page for this, because I think it's important that the people that want to join. If you have more questions through it, just email me, email Lance. Let's go through what you get with consistent passive profits. Now, the important thing here to remember is this is a subsection of traders.com. So if you're a lifetime circle member, you already have access to all of this. So don't worry, nothing's changing for you on that. You guys get this plus everything else for just a bit higher of a price than what we're offering this for. So I think lifetime inner circle of day traders has been something we should have spun this off long before now. I think we're calling it consistent passive profits because that's what it is. It's the most consistent, chilled out trading I've ever done. Like I said, you get lifetime access, so there's just a one-time payment. We're not doing monthly, we're not doing quarterly, yearly, anything like that. You get real-time trade alerts every Sunday and support from Lance. I'll also be taking some of an active role in there with helping people as I've started to learn and to get experience as well. There's also a bunch of other traders in there that have really started to love this type of trading as well and to make money doing it. So there's a chance of making 40% profits a year. It literally takes 30 seconds of work a week. You set it, forget it. You get a chat channel where you discuss with Lance and me, other fellow traders, how these trades are doing. You aren't just stuck with doing these one trades. You can add extra trades. So if you're not happy with your returns, you can add more. I add more all the time. Sometimes I'll go, I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to add another one. I'm going to go a bit of a different strike. It's that learning process that this type of environment really helps. What's important here for people that are new and have been put off by this type of strategy is the fact that Lance has put together a quick start bonus course. So it takes you through the basics of how to get started from take trade to start that, and covers the basic strategy, walking you through it all. For the first 10 people that sign up, we're doing a one-on-one Zoom call with Lance to really walk you through, like, this is what you need to do to get started. Now, it's not hard. It took me about an hour, maybe about an hour, and basically that's all you really need to get started. But it's one of the things we found is a barrier to entry, that people are not doing these style of trades because they just don't know what to do. So it's educational as it is an alert service. As much as we all like alert services where you just get an alert and you click a button, you make money, it's also important that you get the bonuses like the quick start course, the one-on-one Zoom call with Lance to get started with these strategies. You also get a bonus, which is a position size guide. So all these things are really important. Like, you can just, come across some guy on Twitter and he does some random thing. But if you've had somebody with 10 years of experience trading this stuff and actually tells you, look, this is what you need to do, because in the long term, if you overposition, you're going to have problems. The odds will not work out in your favor. So these are all things that are really important. One thing I really want to focus on here, maybe it's important, maybe it's not, but I know a lot of people they want to see some sort of free trial. We're not doing a free trial because it's proprietary info. The strategy is not complex. It's one of the good examples of being simple but not easy. So we don't just want to be handing out all this hard-earned knowledge, this years of work from Lance and putting this together. So there isn't a free trial or anything, but if you do not make your money back within a certain amount of time, and the requirements are listed down here, so you can click on this money back guarantee option, you can get your money back from this strategy. That's how sure we are that you'll make the money back from this. I already made the cost of the thing with a couple of months of just basically doing nothing. It feels like just a few clicks. So I already made the cost back in a couple of months. using a small amount of money, $2,000, not like $100,000 or $200, 200,000 or anything. With that, you're talking much higher returns, and but that's something that we really want to emphasize. So I think this is one of the better offers I've seen over the last few years, and I hope you guys can see value in it as well. I put a link in the chat box for you guys to check out and see if you like it. So yeah. Sorry, stop sharing now. All right, what plans?
I'm still getting answers on the chat. We've been getting, this is the most questions we've ever had by far, I think. This is awesome.
Oh, it's one of the most busy. I saw 60 odd people just revolving around while we were doing this. So I'm going to post the link again for people that just want to go and sign up. And honestly, if you have $10,000 spare, $20,000 spare, you cannot go wrong with this. You'll pay for it within a month or two, and the rest of it will be like the most chilled out money you've ever made. And that's been my experience so far. So,
so just wanted to reiterate, for the consistent passive profit sale that we're doing, you will get these consistent trades once a week. And we're going to throw in the covered strangle strategy. Where I'm pretty much developed it myself, where we don't just buy a contract, sell a call and a put, but we have our own methodology to do that. We're going to throw that in as well to amplify returns if people are interested in that, just for the current offer. If you're a lifetime member, we do all of that included. We do the 1-1-2 strategy, where we sell naked puts, but we buy debit spreads on top of it as a hedge and to amplify returns possibly. We do 0 DTE on SPX pretty much every day. We do credit spreads on stocks and ETFs.
Is anybody else having problems hearing me? Lance, you can hear me just fine, right?
It's coming on and off. I'm not sure if it's mine or not, but yeah, I've heard a little bit of on and off.
It might be best if you continue talking and I saw Rob was saying that he couldn't really hear what I was saying and things. So
sorry about that. I think I answered all the questions. If anyone else has any in the chat, please feel free. I was typing away there. If the lifetime is purchased, is this included? Yes. So current Theta Trader members receive everything that we're offering. In addition, you get 1-1-2 trades. You get with the put debit spreads. You get 0 DTE and SPX stock trades. You also get one-on-one Zoom sessions with me. So we could go over individual questions you have on these strategies. A lot of people are wondering approximately what % of their accounts do they do in one strategy or a second or a third strategy. So we spend a lot of time on that. A lot on the trading plan that you guys come up with. We have some members in Lifetime that have their own strategies, and they would just like another ear to hear my input on how it might be a valuable strategy. Definitely like hearing those calls. Any beginners that are out there, literally how to place a trade, I spend a lot of time on that. Like I'll walk through with my screen exactly what to click on. I'll have you guys do the same thing. A lot of people just want to make sure they're entering the trades in right, because if you enter it in opposite, then obviously you could be in some danger because you're on the opposite side of the trade. So like I get messages throughout the day usually on, did I enter this trade incorrectly or did I do it right? All right, other questions? Yeah. How much will that strangle return add to monthly returns? It varies because it depends on what happens to the market. Like the last trade I did on a covered strangle, it was a little over 3%, and it took about 11 days. So that would be about 9% in a month if you did that every 11 days. But it varies. Sometimes you might get assigned on the contract, and we're okay getting assigned.
Did you answer this?
Just will pay for the different lifetime after I purchase this. Yes, if you order this consistent passive profits and later on you wanted to decide for lifetime, yeah, I think that should be okay, right, Russell, to allow credit for that, and then you just pay the difference for the lifetime. Yeah. We do that with some members as well. I started, but these two are out of their way. Never seen that. Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate it. And, when you're ready, just feel free. Send me a message and we can get you going on these trades.
Yeah.
It's probably our annoying internet. And I upgraded my internet service, but sometimes it's just spotty. I don't know. Maybe my kids aren't even home right now, but sometimes they're on like 50 tablets and Wi-Fi using up everything and it slows us down. But I'm not sure. I'm sorry about the internet being a little spotty there.
Yeah, it seems like we're both having problems. The people having a hard time hearing me as well. So, yeah.
Any other quick questions? Yes. Oh, by the way, Ken said $9.97 for lifetime. This is for lifetime. So if you want to do these weekly futures trades, any covered strangle strategy is just a one-time payment, $9.97, and you could do perfectly fine with just those strategies if you'd like. 5G, yeah, I'm on Spectrum Internet though. I'm not sure why it's doing that.
Yeah, it's sad.
Any other questions from the group? We could spend another 5-10 more minutes. And if you are unavailable for the live stream, we'll leave it open for questions later in the week. Can this be done with a Roth IRA? Yes. It does use a little bit more in your margin requirements for a Roth IRA. That's just how the brokerage's rules are. But you could still do these strategies. Your returns might be slightly less, but could be very useful in a Roth IRA, especially with the tax advantages that you get from it. Yes, Rob, let's add a little bit more to that. So if you join for this, I did make a video series. I made it as straightforward and pretty much as efficient as I could. Russell saw the whole thing. It takes about 40 minutes to watch, and you'll know exactly what to do with the strategy. I'll show you exactly what to click on, where we get our trades, how do we manage it. Also, how to group our trades is useful, because sometimes you'll have trades in all different places, and we have an efficient way to do that.
Yeah, more questions. How much do you suggest for the car?
Depends on the car, obviously. If your car loan is about $400 a month, you would probably need about $15,000 to $20,000 in your brokerage to earn about that much. I currently have a almost $35,000 account, which I do the same trades that I'm showing with others, and 1% a month is what my goal is for growing that particular strategy. I'll do other strategies too that can amplify that, but I'm typically using about a third to a half of that account. So I'm trying to earn about $350 a month with just the main strategy we talked about, and that typically uses about 10 to 15 grand for that strategy as well. Liquidity on low deltas. Good point there, Metroplex. A lot of people have that question where they're worried like you're not getting fills and whatnot. I mean, me and Russell, we were doing this yesterday and we were getting filled very close to the mid price. And we were literally the first people to actually get filled with that volume. Like I literally saw the volume was 0. We made our alert. We both entered the trade and then the volume was, we've had like half the volume of the whole channel there. So it is possible. You might have to go near the bid price on MES, but it's still making these very good returns either way. If you happen to be free in the middle of the trading day, there could be a little bit more volume and liquidity. And ES does have more volume and liquidity as well. But it's perfectly fine doing with MES. Okay, tutorial included, answered that. It's a great savings account. I mean, it's as close to a savings account as I could see. I mean, we've worked 100% of the trades worked so far in over a year. It's not as safe as T-bills, but it's very close to it. You can share an email. Yeah, I'll just put my email address on here. It's also at thetatraders.com. You could find my contact info directly on the website. If we purchase, will be detailed. Yes. So Riskit and others, once you purchase, we're going to add you to our Discord server, and then you'll get all the notifications there. You could set it up where it's like a phone notification or similar to SMS, and there's a chat group there where you can ask me any questions that you have there. I'm not sure, Russell, if you mentioned it, but for the first 10 members, I'll be doing a one-on-one Zoom call with the first 10 members that sign up. And like if we get 50 members, I may not have time for all 50, but the first 10 I could definitely handle.
Yeah, I just posted that again. I did mention it, but I just did post it again. The first 10 people do get a live Zoom call as well. I think that'll be really helpful for people as well.
Matteo said, per the description, providing signals and trade ideas every day of the week. Yeah, we'll be sending the weekly regular strategy on Sunday evening. That's when I place the trade. For the covered strangle strategy, it depends on when we entered it and when we exit it. So I just exited the last one today, and I told members that we're going to wait until the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. We'll re-enter on Thursday. So you'll be able to do most of these trades. You'll typically get about 2 to 3 trades a week on average.
Yeah, seems good. All right, it seems good. Let's see if there's any more questions. If not, you guys can purchase it right here. Just putting the link in again. Go there, fill out the form. You'll be directed to the Discord, and we'll sort you out from there. And yeah.
The alerts come through Discord. It's an app where you could chat with us one-on-one. You can chat with a group of other individuals that's for the program, and you could set it up on your phone. You can set it up on your computer, where you get notified just like a text message.
The beautiful thing is you're not waiting for this is not crackhead day trading where somebody gets in and then you panic and you can't get in. These come out every Sunday night at a very set time, and even if you can't be around to do it at that set time on Sunday, it doesn't matter. Sometimes the Monday you get a better price, maybe later that Sunday night, So.
Yeah, we have a lot of members that just do the trade on Monday, lunchtime or a few minutes that they're off from work, take a break, and then do the alert. So, and most of the time these fills are pretty identical to what I do on Sunday night.
Yeah, definitely. And I think once you guys experience the CPP or consistent passive profit stuff, Lance is a whole new service. So Brian Bleak just purchased. Awesome. Great. We'll see you in a second. Once we get off the call, we'll welcome you in the Discord. So Lance's inner circle theta traders, the guys that are in there, they know what this is all about. They know that this is a small part of what is like one of the most superb systems you'll come across from one of the most genuine, transparent people you'll come across too. So the people that are buying the CPP, you may want to buy just that, right? And then you might want to upgrade, and we'll put your price of what you paid for CPP towards inner circle theta traders. In inner circle theta traders, you get the same style of trading, but you get it on commodities, on gold, on oil, like all this stuff, like not just on ES and MES. It's like a massive all-in-one service. People would charge $10,000 for what Lance is offering at Theta Traders, but we thought this would be a nice way to lower that barrier to entry, to get people in and learn this type of trade. So, yeah.
Yeah, we want to be very fair to people. Some members, if you're still on the fence, you could even join a 7-day free trial for the stock alerts. It won't get the CPP alerts, but you'll see like just how our community is just really good and strong. We have about 150 members last we checked. Very like-minded individuals just trying to make money selling options. And then some members that join, they pay a quarterly or 2 quarterly payments. We'll use that as a credit. So if they want to upgrade to lifetime, we get a lot of lifetime upgraders because they like the service so much.
So Brian Bleak's purchased, Risk It for the Briskets purchased. I want to trade this for a bit with continuation to lifetime. So yeah, so you have lifetime for the MES, ES stuff, and you won't see a lot in there just yet. As soon as we get off this call, we'll come into the Discord and say hello, make sure everything's working in there, and make sure that you're getting access to everything. But I'm glad you guys are joining us. You definitely get that Zoom call. Anybody else that joins the first 10 is great. So Tyrone's asking about the trial for Theta Traders.
So if you go to thetatraders.com, Russell, if you could put the link up. We do a 7-day free trial where that offers just the stock alerts that we do, and we do 0 DTE trades on SPX. They are a bit volatile. They could move quite a bit because you're in and out that same day. We also do longer dated credit spread alerts on individual stocks. Like we'll put credit spreads on main tech sector companies and whatnot. Those usually go 30, 45 days out. You could ask any questions that you have. We have a huge library of strategy guides that I wrote all out. It's pretty much an encyclopedia of books at this point. We're just keep adding on to it. And you could ask me individually any questions on the Discord. You could ask the group questions. We have a lot of members that make their own trades, and it's under a separate member trade tab. And then they might want my input or just a share of the community as well.
Cool. So maybe we just share like your email one more time, so the people that are on the fence that are in here at the moment can email you directly. Would be pretty useful, and then we can call it a night and go and say hello to Brisket for the Brisket and Brian and anybody else who's joining in. So yeah, so guys, that's Lance's email. Email him questions. He's happy to talk to you. More than happy.
Brisket for the Brisket. It's us Texas folk. We love our briskets, right? Bolivia. Wow, how you go. It's so incredible seeing people around the world watching us.
Yeah, it's always crazy to find people coming in from Singapore, from Australia, from the UK, and like coming in and joining these services, and it's good. So, all right, guys. Well, I think this current deal for the CPP, or consistent passive profits, I think it's going to. I think we said about Friday, right? Like we're going to keep it.
We're going to leave until Sunday at midnight.
Sunday, yeah. Sunday, and that's because people can then get in and place a trade on the Sunday if they want. So, yeah. So it'll be pretty good. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening. Sorry about the audio problems. Hopefully it's not going to be a recurring thing. And it sounds like most people got the drift of things, and people are starting to come into the service. So, and yeah.
But yeah, feel free if there's still any clarification you need to send me an email, or you contact me or Russell.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And I'll be following up with a few emails. So if you're on my email list, you'll see a few emails for the replay. We may also do an encore replay at some point. We haven't really hammered that down yet, but it could be fun to do another one of these where we can kind of go through it. Hopefully the audio will be better and we can make sure everybody gets the full picture. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thanks. Bye.